Okay, class, say greet to the teacher. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Okay, class, before starting our studies, let's open our class by reading Basmalah together. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim.
Okay, everybody, have you finished to read the module yet?
Yes, miss, we are done
Yeah.
with the module.
Yes, we done it.
Okay, so we discuss about what you have read yesterday.
Okay, miss.
But before our discussions, I will take attendance before we start the online class. Please raise your hand when I call your name. Okay, hamam, Tika,
Yes,
Rani.
Yes, miss.
Okay, everyone, do you still remember with the material at the last meeting? Guess what we have discussed?
Our last meeting explained about hydrocarbon in daily life. It contains from hydrogen and oxygen.
Me, miss.
Yeah.
I will try to explain again. A hydrocarbon is molecule whose structure includes only hydrogens and carbon atoms. Interestingly, some hydrocarbons once combined also form bonds with other atoms in order to create organic compounds. The presence of carbon is required for a compound to be classified as organic in all but a few cases. But the presence of hydrocarbon adds even more basis for it to be considered organic, as there are a few inorganic compounds that do contain carbon but not hydrogens. The presence of a hydrocarbons in in an organic compound means the bonds between the atoms will be particularly strong. Unlike the bonds in inorganic compounds and in organic compounds that contain a carbon atoms, the presence of other atoms leads to hydrocarbons being classified as either pure, only hydrogens and carbon, or impure hydrogen or carbon bond to other atoms as well as each other.
Okay, great. Rani and Hamam next. Can anyone give me some example of hydrocarbon in daily life, or what compound that you know?
we miss the
Yeah.
example of hydrocarbons such as natural gas and fuel. Many of the natural fuel sources used are hydrocarbons. Compounds like methane, butane, propane, and hexane are all hydrocarbons. Their chemical formulas consist of only carbon and hydrogen atoms. In a variety of reactions and chemical configuration. After that, plastic many of the plastic we use in everyday life and in industry are made from long chain of monomers formed from petrochemicals. These petrochemicals are simply hydrocarbons of different chemical composition.
Okay, another.
Mimis,
Yeah.
I found the example hydrocarbon from the modules. The hydrocarbon from the module is isopropyl alcohol. This common medical chemical is interesting in that it contains a hydrocarbon that is then bonds to further carbon atoms. The initial hydrocarbons CH3 bonds to other atoms to form CH3 CHOH.
Okay, good. Tika and Hamam. Another example, please. Rani.
Miss.
Yeah.
Another example such as paraffin. The wax that we use for a variety of industries, everything from candle making and food preservation to medical and industrial uses, contains hydrocarbons. Asphalt, the common substance that most people are familiar with, is actually a hydrocarbon that has been heated to form the substance tar. It is then mixed with other key industrial ingredients to form the mixture that makes up the root's surface.
Okay, good, Rani. Sir, give applause. I want to ask something. Anyone see motorcycles today? Please raise your hand if you did it.
Me, miss.
Okay, sir. Did you know that gasoline is one example of a hydrocarbon compound? Within of knowing, right?
Okay,
Can anyone
next.
tell me, please, what we will learn today? If you remember, I have said yesterday about what we will discuss today.
We will learn about type of hydrocarbons.
Okay, now let's discuss it. Yesterday, you have been read hydrocarbon material and then look at slide the board. Can anyone explain what are the definitions of hydrocarbon?
Me. Hydrocarbon are
Yeah,
simple organic compounds which contain only carbon and hydrogen.
sir. And at the board, why I reasons I work of organic compound. Anyone know what I mean?
Mimes, hydrocarbon consists in organic chemistry. There is actually thousand upon thousand carbon containing compound within in our world. So organic compound many in our daily life, such as medicine, have tons of carbon containing compounds. Plastic are all carbon containing compound.
Okay, great, Rani. Let's talk about how it born and what of hydrocarbon compound. You can actually make using carbon. Anyone questions before we continue this lesson?
What is the shape of the structure of hydrocarbon compounds? Are they different?
Yeah, yes, they're very different because it is influenced by the number of bond. I will explain further. So remember that carbon has four valence electron, which means it is going to form bond to get the total of eight valence
That
electron.
is
Needs hydrogens, which is typically bond and only form one bond. Because H only needs two valence electrons, so the simplest organic compound or hydrocarbon you are actually going to see is methane, which is CH4, one carbon bond, two four hydrogens. So there are many different type of hydrocarbon you are going to come across, and they are going to be called carbon change or something along those lines. And one of the first thing you are going to see are things called alkanes, alkane, and alkyne. Please discuss in these sections about third classification of hydrocarbon compound. We can get started.
in my opinion, alkane alkanes are all singly bonds to other carbons. So everything within the carbon chains all single bond. So a basic structure to determine the formula for an alkane would be CnH2n+2.
Okay, Rani. So I have
Here,
a hydrocarbon change and alkane change written up here for you, and it has four carbon. Anyone know what the formula form?
So according to a formula, its number of 8 is going to be 2 times for which 8 plus 2 is 10. And the final formula hydrocarbon is most going to end up with C4H10.
Oh, like that. I understand.
Yeah, okay. Another type of change is that if their double bond within is so we know the carbon connected double bond with itself, so they are called.
Alkanes or become
Yeah.
alkanes contain at least one or more double bond. So an easy formula for figuring out the formula for alkane is CnH2n. So let's say here I have four carbons, so I'm going to say C4H2.4 become C4H8.
Okay, great. Next, the third type of hydrocarbon you might see hydrocarbon backbone change is an alkyne. What is alkyne?
Alkyne is dealing with triple bonds. We know that they can go up all the way up to triple bonding. So that's when something is at least one triple bond within the backbone of carbon of the cane. The formula is CnH2n into. So if I have four carbon, I'm going to say C4 and H6.
Yeah, okay. No, can anyone tell me, please, what are different type of hydrocarbon from our lessons today?
Mimis, alkane
Yeah,
is
Rani.
CnH2n plus 2. Alkene is CnH2n. Alkyne is CnH2n min 2.
Right. So everyone an easy way to remember going from single, double, and triple, and remember the alkane, cane, and alkyne is to notice that they are actually in alphabetic order with alkanes and alkyne. Any questions, everyone?
Enough, miss.
Yeah. And the last, I will give you some questions. Yeah. For Hamam, please
Okay.
answer. What the difference based of general formula from alkanes, alkane, and alkyne?
Okay, the formula of alkenes is CnH2n plus 2. And the formula of alkene is CnH2n. And the formula of alkane is CnH2n minus 2.
Good. Yeah. After that, for Tika, if I have two carbon atom, what the molecule formula for alkane, alkane, and alkyne?
For alkane is C2H6. For alkenes,
Yeah.
C2H4. And for alkyne is C2H2.
Yeah. Okay. And the last questions for Rani. What Tika had mentions
Produksinya.
about the structure formula. Please try to say what the name of alkanes, alkane, and alkyne. Rani.
Alkane is N. Alkene is
Yeah.
18. And then alkyne is
Mm-hmm.
ethyne.
Okay, right. Great. All the lessons today. That's all for discussions today. Don't forget to read next material, and you can keep healthy so we can meet again on the next meeting. Thank you all. Before we close our meeting, let's pray together. Uh, pray begin. Finish. Okay. See you next week. Thank you. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Waalaikumsalam
Waalaikumsalam warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Wabarakatuh. Thank you,
Miss.
miss.
Miss. Bye-bye.